Hi BookTube, Sarah here and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with a announcement video, recommendations, and a TBR video all rolled into one. You probably were able to tell from the title of this video, but yes, I am here to announce something that some of you have been asking me about, whether it was coming back again this year or not, and that is Amish in April. This is, I believe, the third year that Elizabeth and I are doing this. I am co-hosting it, of course, with my good friend Elizabeth over at Lizzie Faye Loves Books. This was her original brainchild, and she asked me to join in, and I am super thrilled about it. I love doing this. I do really enjoy reading books that center around the Amish community or have Amish characters. I think it's a very fascinating sect, and I'm always interested in learning more about them. So yeah, this is such a fun read-along. So, sorry, I'm stumbling over my words here as usual. This is going to run from April the 19th through April the 26th inclusive. So that's a Sunday to a Sunday. 8 days as opposed to the typical 7 days for a week-long read-a-thon. We just thought we'd give the extra day because why the heck not? And there are unofficially 2 challenges for this read-a-thon. Usually what we've tried to do in years past is to give you guys word prompts or suggestions or things like that, but we're going to try and keep it a little bit more low-key this year. And the main challenge, of course, is to read Amish books. During that week, just read books either set in Amish country or feature Amish characters or what have you. As I said, this is also going to be a recommendations video, so I'm going to give you guys some suggestions if you're wondering on where to get started. And also, the other challenge that Elizabeth and I kind of went back and forth on, and we both really like the idea, is we are going to have kind of a key word, and that is stuck. Elizabeth had it for, you're going to stick with reading books from this series that you're currently reading. And I'm thinking about it as well with, we are kind of stuck at home right now. A lot of people, the world's in a bit of an upheaval right now. I'm sure you guys can, you guys are all dealing with it as well. There's so much uncertainty and so much fear and so much anxiety going on right now that this is the time, and I've seen so many read-a-thons going on, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's kind of getting us out of, out of what we're feeling right now and giving us something to do, to look forward to, you know what I mean? So yeah, so we're going with the keyword of stuck. So you can use that for pretty much anything. As I said, Elizabeth is probably going to use it for, she's going to stick with a certain series. I am using it for sticking to the 2 books that I put on my TBR and not adding more because that tends to be what I do. Oh, I want to read all of the books right now. For you, it could be you want to stick, with reading these books while you're stuck at home. It can be just that simple. So yeah, I think it's really fun, and I think it's really low key. I am, not hard and fast when it comes to read-a-thon rules. But that's why Elizabeth and I thought this would be perfect for this year. And, maybe next year when we have a bit more time, because like I said, everything's in such upheaval that maybe we'll have time to plan something a little bit more. But for this year, we just are encouraging you guys to read Amish books. So, as I said, I've got some recommendations, so I'm going to go through the recommendations, and then I'm going to share with you guys my personal TBR for this week, well, for the Amish books that I plan on reading that week. So the first book that I want to recommend to you guys, oh, sorry, I just put this away. Silly me. The first book I want to recommend is actually called Plain Target, but the book that I have is Amish County Ambush, and this is the Amish County Justice series. This is the 4th book. Plain Justice, which I will stick the cover up for up here, is the first book in the series. This whole series is by Dana R. Lynn. It takes place in Amish country. I believe it's in Pennsylvania, because there's big Amish populations in Pennsylvania and Ohio as well, but I'm pretty sure this one takes place in Pennsylvania. And it has to do with like crimes and stuff. This is part of the Love Inspired Suspense series, which is a faith-based suspense series. And while the main characters may not be Amish themselves, the fact that it takes place in Amish country absolutely counts for this challenge or for this read-a-thon. It does feature Amish characters, but they may not be necessarily the main characters. I have read, as I said, Amish County Ambush. I read this one actually back in March for March Mystery Madness, I believe. And I read the 5th book, the next book that comes after this one in the series, late last year. I think it was one of my holiday books, because it is a holiday, the next one's a holiday book. But yeah, really good series, great writing on these ones, highly recommend. The next one I have to share is Assaulted Caramel by Amanda Flower. This is the first book in the Amish Candy Shop mystery series. It's a cozy mystery series. Again, our main character, our amateur sleuth, as you will, if you will, is not Amish, but her grandparents are. And in this first book, she kind of goes home to help her grandfather because his health is ailing, and help her grandmother run the candy shop that her and her grandfather own. So it's in a small Amish community, but they are frequented by Englishers, or those who are non-Amish, as the Amish call the rest of us. And, you know, it was a really fun, cozy mystery series. I believe there's 4 or 5 books now. I think I have the newest one from NetGalley that I'm super stoked about getting to. But this book was definitely a delight. If you like cozy mysteries, definitely check this series out. The next one. Now, as I was putting together my list, I did notice that Elizabeth, when I know she reads a lot of Amish books, and she tends to stick towards the more romance-focused, the more about Amish characters and more faith-based, if you will, which is fine. I tend to go off from center, and I much prefer mine to be a little bit more mystery-focused, if you will. So that's why 3 out of the 4 recommendations I have are more mystery-esque type books. So if you're looking for more contemporary, I don't know, contemporary if that's the right word, more faith-based Amish books, then definitely check out Elizabeth, because she will definitely have recommendations for you in that aspect. So the third book I want to mention, or the third series, these are all kind of series that I'm recommending in a way, is Home by Dark by Marta Perry. Marta Perry does some great Amish romance books. This is definitely a romantic suspense novel. It is the first book in the Watchers in the Dark series. I believe I read this one last year for Amish in April. And this is about a girl who was raised Amish, left the church, and she came back to her community and bought a home in the community, and something's happening. Something's amish with the Amish, if you will. Sorry, that was horrible. That was a horrible pun. That was a horrible pun. It made me laugh. So anyway, there's something going on, something with her own family. There's a mystery involved. There's a stalker. This one gets a little bit darker than the cozy mystery, and even a bit darker than the Plain Target book. That first book, that first series that I mentioned by Dana R. Lynn, they toe the line. They don't get too violent, too graphic. They don't get graphic at all because it is faith-based, of course. But Home by Dark tends to get a little darker. And the last series that I want to recommend is one that I've actually read the second book in. I've not read the first book yet. I've read the second book, and I have the third book from NetGalley for review. I think it comes out in May. But this series is more a contemporary romance, just an Amish contemporary romance series. And it is The Amish of Cedar Grove, and the first book is called The Wish, and this series is by Patricia Davids, and it is delightful. Like I said, I've read the second book called The Hope, and I really, really liked it, about a little girl who is kind of abandoned, and there is a bit of a mystery involving it, but I would definitely say it's more of a romance. The mystery plays second fiddle to the romance in this story, but really great writing, really great characters. I believe these take place in Ohio, I think, but I'm not 100% certain. But still, if that's more what you're looking for, I highly recommend you check it out. And I wanted to also mention that Elizabeth is reading a book called The English Daughter by Cindy Woodsmall, and she has been working with the publisher, and she actually has a pre-order link for that. So do check out her video if you're interested to look for that book. I will leave a link to all of these things in the description box below, so if you want to check them out and have a look for yourself, because the book that she's reading, she got an advanced copy from the publisher, and she is reading it for this readathon. And last but not least, my own TBR. I only have 2 books on my TBR, you guys. I might add another one. We shall see how that week goes, and if I have time. But right now I have 2, and both of them I'm very excited about. And one, in a way, is a recommendation as well. So the first one that I plan on reading is Between You and Me by Susan Wiggs. This is Susan Wiggs. I read her contemporary and women's fiction. She is an absolute favorite author of mine. This book came out a couple years ago, and it is about another kind of mystery that happens within Amish country. I'll be honest to say I'm really not absolutely certain what it's about, but it sounds really good, and I'm very excited about reading it. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I don't want to necessarily recommend it because I haven't read it yet, but I can tell you that Susan Wiggs is a fantastic author. And if I'm going to put it out there too, if any of you guys are interested in maybe doing a group read of this one, do let me know, because I would be more than happy to do that. I was going to say if you want to do a group read with either of the books, but the other book I have is third in a series. So I don't know if you really want to jump in third in a series. So the other book, this is the one that I can recommend this series to you, is Breaking Silence by Lynn Castillo. This is the third book in the Kate Burkholder series. Guys, this one is so good. So our main character, Kate Burkholder, is former Amish. She was raised in the Amish church and left, you know, after her Rumspringer, I believe is what it's called. And she went away to school and is now back living in the small town of Painter's Mill. And she is the local police chief, sheriff, something like that. This series, as good as it is, this really toes the line at whether I recommend it as an Amish read because it takes place in Amish country and a lot of the other characters are Amish, so it fits the bill in that aspect. Where it does not fit the bill is all the other books that I have recommended. I don't know, again, about the Susan Wiggs, but all the other books that I recommended, there's no swearing, there's no adult content, none of those things, of course, in there. In this one, there is. There's quite a bit of swearing, there is adult content, and these stories get very graphic and very, very gritty. They are not an easy read, let's put it that way. The last book, unfortunately, dealt with child pornography, which was a very difficult topic to address, especially in a book that takes place in Amish country. So, again, it's not something for everybody, but if you're interested and you like those kind of more police procedural type stories, I recommend that you check it out. In a way, the series sort of reminds me of Patricia Cornwell with her K. Scarpella series. I think that's what it's called. Where, you know, it gets very gritty, very dark. It's that kind of an atmosphere to the series. Still really, really good. So anyway, guys, that is all that I have for today's video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments below if you are going to be participating in Amish in April with me and Elizabeth. And do you have any books to recommend to anyone else? Please post them in the comments below, or let us know what books you are going to be reading. And until my next video, everybody, take care. And happy reading, of course. Bye, guys.